All right, y'all, I'm back. So, this is part 3 of CeCe's aneurysm story. And where I left off in part 2, I believe I was talking about how it was time for CeCe to go to her first nursing home, first rehabilitation facility. Notice I said first. But before I get into that, I pinned a comment on my on part 1. Because I neglected to tell you in that first part that had CeCe not driven herself to the emergency room, because remember, she woke up in the morning with the worst headache she ever felt, and but her girlfriend at the time was also sick. Something else was wrong with her. I cannot remember for the life of me what it was, but I think it had something to do with her stomach, or maybe she had a stomach virus, something like that. But she was too sick to drive. So between the two of them, I think because of whatever she had going on, would have made it a lot harder to drive. CeCe elected to drive to the emergency room, drive them both. But the doctor, the neurosurgeon, told us, had CeCe not driven herself, then it's quite possibly she would not have made it, because she would have been sitting in the passenger seat after it ruptured and just possibly just slipped away. So the fact that she drove herself to the ER quite possibly saved her life. Now, this is just the perfect opportunity for me to talk about God and her being blessed, because and meant to still be here. Because look at how it happened. If her girlfriend at the time was not sick, then she would have been driving her, and who knows? CeCe may not be here right now. So I just wanted to share that part, make sure of that, because that's a crucial part to the story. So fast forward. Now she's been there about a month, because it happened April 15, 2015, and she left there in May. I want to say May 15th. I think it was 1 month. Yeah, I think it was May 15th where she left the Washington Hospital Center, and she was transferred to her very first nursing rehabilitation facility, which was in Laurel. It was in Laurel Hospital, but it was up on like the 2nd or 3rd floor. It was an actual rehabilitation unit above Laurel Hospital, and I do not believe it's open any longer, and I'm happy, because that place was crazy. At first, when she first got there, it was okay. They came in, they were doing therapy, doing things like sitting her up on the side of the bed. I'm gonna put a picture right here so you can see that. But CeCe was trying to, hold her head. It's hard for her to do. She didn't have balance, so she can only really sit up. It's almost like a newborn, trying to get them to sit up for the first time, and she really didn't have the balance and all that, and they had to support her. And her head was to the side. She did a lot of just looking around, not really. She didn't communicate at all because she had the trach in. So she did a lot of just looking around, not really communicating, not really knowing what's going on. We put collages together with different pictures so she can remember things and who she was, and did posters around the room for her. But every time she was moved or had to travel, like when she came from the hospital to the nursing facility, they put this like helmet thing on her head, because you got to remember, she doesn't have, it's soft now. So now her brain is no longer swelling and swollen. So it's kind of a dip. So she has in her head now, like part of it is kind of smushed in, and dented now, because there's no skull over top of it. And then she's got the staples going up and around here. I'm gonna put that picture in. And so but now at this point, her hair is gone. Her hair grew back like that. So when you see this picture, you think about her being bald on April 17th, 18th, something like that, to now being in May 15th. And you'll see her, she has little curly hair. Her hair grew so quick. So they're doing the rehabilitation, and we're coming in with our iPads trying to show her movies, Coming to America, things like that, just to kind of, you know, spark any memory for her. And then one Sunday, May 17th, 2015, we were coming to visit, myself and my spouse. And we stopped off. My mom was there already visiting CeCe, and she called me on my cell and was like, hey, CeCe needs to be, you know, she needs to be tended to. So she's got the Depends or whatever on, because she can't go to the bathroom. My bad, y'all. Something came through my phone. It was a call video. Something came through my phone and cut me off. But whole time, I done talked about 10 minutes. And I looked up and the joint not even recording. So, and I had some good stuff. So I'm trying to rewind it back and remember where I said. So when I left off, I was saying that it was May 17th, 2015. We were going to visit CeCe, myself and my spouse. My mom was already there. She called me and said that CeCe needed to be tended to. She needed to be changed. CeCe is now wearing, she can't go to the bathroom, so she's wearing Depends. She's totally in the bed. She cannot get up. She cannot do anything. So she's wearing Depends. And my mom was like, you know, I've been here for, you know, a little bit, 10, 15 minutes, and I pressed a button to ask somebody to come change her. No one came in. I'm across the street. My spouse and I across the street getting something to eat at Subway because we knew we would probably be up there for some hours. And I'm like, all right, you know, we 5 minutes away. We'll be there in a minute. We get there now. It's about 30 minutes have gone by. And nobody has come in to tend to CeCe or even respond to the buzzer. When I say buzzer, there's a light that's similar to the hospital that's connected by wires to the bed, and you can press it for assistance. But when you do that, most of the time you need something, but a lot of times it can be an emergency. So it had been about 30 minutes. Nobody came. This is a Sunday, okay? I needed to say that. Sometimes during the week, in the day, things are different. People respond better. I don't know if they were better staffed. I don't know. But just in my experience, dealing with several different rehabilitation centers, on the weekends, it could be either or, because they know more people come on the weekends, so they tend to do things better. And then sometimes they know that nobody's coming and they just are lazy, in my opinion. But in this particular instance, it's been 30 minutes. Nobody's even responded to the light. Nobody's even said, okay, we're coming. We see you. What's wrong? None of that. So I'm pissed. I go down the hallway. I'm at the nurse's station. Look, I hit the light. We hit the light like 30 minutes ago. You know, we need assistance. What's up? Somebody's coming. So finally, 5 minutes or so later, a CNA, certified nursing assistant, comes in. And she says, I'm not going to wait. We doing shift change. I don't know where such and such is. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. Now, I need to say this. In CeCe's condition, there needed to be 2 CNAs at all times when people need to be changed, when she needed to be changed or clothing changed or anything like that, or cleaned, washed up, because because of her skull still not put back into her brain. Her head is kind of sloped. I'm going to put the picture in here so you can see it. So basically, she's got the staples right here going around, and they pull back the flap of her skull, of her skin, and they cut out the skull part, flap is what it was called, put it into her stomach so it stayed viable, so it was still in her stomach, in the fatty part of her stomach, and they just stapled it back. Now, since her brain is no longer swelling, all the swelling had gone down, it kind of left it like that. So it's now like she got a dent in her head. And there's nothing to protect her brain. It's just skin, hair, brain, that's it. No skull. So because of that, every time she had to be changed or moved, like when she was transferred from the hospital to the facility, she has to wear this helmet. And I do believe I have helmet pictures, so I'm going to try to put those up as well. So she's got this helmet, and they had to put that on her, but just to simply change her, she had to put her helmet on. And you kind of got to be quick because she has to be laid down to be changed. And when she's laid down, the trach can kind of move or shift, and you don't want it to shift too long, right? So the lady came and she said, look, I know she's been waiting long. She can't sit that long because then you start to develop bed sores and all kinds of stuff. That's why you have to be changed, rotated, moved regularly. She said, I'm not going to wait. I said, well, listen, I've been helping. I can assist. I don't have no problem jumping in. I do that to this day with CeCe. Now, I can help. So in the room now is myself, my spouse, my mom, and the CNA. So we go to start changing. And while she rolls her over, I'm on the backside supporting her while she's changing and doing the cleaning up and everything. So it must have taken longer than it should have or needed to take, or I don't know. And all of a sudden, CeCe couldn't breathe. She was like pulling for air. She couldn't breathe. And so I'm nervous as hell. I run out of the room. I'm trying to find somebody. My spouse is still in the room, and she said even to this day, it was the scariest thing she had ever seen. She was like, a couple people came in and tried to get her to breathe, trying to fix her. Apparently her trach became dislodged in the process of her being changed, and she could not breathe. And my spouse was like, her eyes just got so big, just like she couldn't breathe. And it was the craziest, scariest thing she had witnessed. I'm out in the hallway still trying to get everybody. I need everybody. More people came into the room. They got us out. They pushed us out of there. We in the hallway. I'm losing my mind because if you can picture this, I'm outside the door, and all of a sudden I hear Cold Blue. I don't remember the name of this unit. I swear I wish I did, but it was Laurel Hospital, and they named it after a woman, and it was the woman's name in the unit. So the rehabilitation unit was called after the woman's name, and I don't remember it at the time. But all you hear is Cold Blues, such and such unit, second, third floor, whatever it was, and the room number. So I know exactly they're calling it Cold Blue in my sister's room. I'm scared to death. I couldn't even do anything. In this hallway, I just remember having my back up against the wall and just sliding down the wall onto the floor, and my spouse being right there and holding me, and we losing our minds. And then you just see doctors coming off the elevator, running into the room. You see doctors coming from the hallway, running into the room. Door slam, and you hear Cold Blue, Cold Blue. You just hear that, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm shaking, and tears are coming. I don't know what to do. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm scared to death, and I'm losing it. And all of a sudden, my mother, of all people, was just like, she'll be fine. You gotta have faith. She'll be fine. Stop worrying. She'll be fine. Just pray. And if I may, because I know CeCe probably gonna see this at some point, probably watching it now. I'm gonna do my mother's voice. She'll be fine. Get up. Don't go through all that. Don't worry. Just have faith. She'll be fine. And I was like, I'm looking up at her, and the strength that she's showing in this moment, I was like, okay, maybe I am tripping. Maybe she is gonna be fine. Okay, and totally had me looking at my mom differently from that point on. And you gotta know, we had not been seeing eye to eye since this happened with CeCe. We just had not. I mean, CeCe's no longer has her girlfriend that she was with at the time. But that poor girl at the time, my mother carried her through tremendous grief. Just got on her nerves, and I felt so bad. So she was getting, because of that, she got on my nerves, you know. There was a lot of tension, you know. This happens in families when somebody's sick, somebody's ill, whatever. And my mother was not my favorite person, I would just say that. So to hear her in that moment and see the strength that she had for her child, knowing, you know, she did not know, but she felt, because she know God, CeCe gonna be cool. And it gave me the strength I needed. So I don't know how long, how much time had passed. It didn't feel like it was a lot of time. But in that moment, time stood still. So maybe it was about 10 minutes or so after all the cold blues and the doctors coming in and out kind of shut down. Oh, and the cart. That's another thing. The cart came roaring in, that little crash car where they clear and shock you. All that coming in, like all that was going on. So then after a while, they kind of opened the door, came out, and we on bated breath, like, you know, what are they getting ready to say? And they said she's stable. You know, her trach became dislodged when she was laid upside down or whatever. But it's back in and she's stable. She's breathing. We have to take her to the ICU, though, because she had to get the compressions and her chest may be sore. And so they're going to clean up in the room and then you can go in. So about 5 or so minutes later, they allowed us to come inside. And it just looked like, you ever watch those shows like ER or Grey's Anatomy or whatever, and you know, you see them go through all that stuff. Well, when I came in the room, it was stuff everywhere. They said they cleaned up, but it was trash, kind of trash stuff everywhere. Gloves, certain places. I saw like a splatter of blood on the wall. Like, I'm assuming that they had to take her trach out and did it quick, and it probably just splattered blood or whatever all up against the wall on the machine. And CeCe just laying there. She's like out of it. You can tell she's breathing, but she's just laying there kind of out of it. And I was just like, oh my God. Crazy. So now that she's okay, I'm in like extra pissed mode. So I'm trying to write down. Somebody told me, it may have been my aunt, Sandy, one of my aunts. Somebody told me over the phone, record everything that you remember, and you need to do it now. It may have even been my spouse. Write down everything, because as I'm sitting here now, 5 years later, I don't remember names. I don't remember the time. I do remember the date. I'll never forget the date. And it was a Sunday, and it was around the 3 o'clock-ish. It was afternoon. They were doing shift change, so I'm assuming it was around 3. But I don't remember names or anything. So I do have a note in my phone where I recorded everything, everybody's name, the time, this happened, this happened, this happened. And I did it in that moment so that, you know, I wouldn't forget it. But they had to move her down to the ICU. So we go down into the ICU room, and she's in there, and she's kind of in and out of it. I'm on the phone now. I need to speak with administrators, directors. I need everybody. I need bring them all, because this is ridiculous and should never happen again. So I'm dealing with that aspect of it. And then I'm fast forwarding, because it's probably a day or so later. She's still in ICU. We started noticing that her chest cavity or stomach area is bloating. And like, what is this? Why is she kind of bloated? And she was just sitting there puffed up, looking crazy. And she would go through sweating sometime and a lot of stuff because of her temperature shift and all that. And her eyes was kind of bulging. She would look around, she was trying to tell us, I guess, something was wrong. She's bloating. And we like, why is she looking so puffed up? Come to find out, during all of the compressions and trying to get her back to breathing and all that, her stomach feeding tube, which she had connected into her stomach, came out. So all the medicine, all the liquid food, the water, all the stuff she had been given through her tube, when they would put medicine in there, everything went through her tube, was going floating around in her cavity of her stomach area, because it came out on the inside. The tube came out on the inside. So everything they pushing in is just going out willy-nilly, not getting into her stomach where it should be going. So now she has to have another emergency surgery. This was crazy. She goes through the surgery. They fix it. They connect the tube. It took 2-3 hours or so. And they tried to get all the stuff, I guess, that wasn't where it's supposed to be in there, out, cleaned up, whatever. But this is just some more of the incompetence that we dealt with this place. So I need her out of here. You know, as the week is going on, after that happened, then they repaired it and she's back in there for observation. Now I'm on the phone with people like, she will never go. She will not. I refuse to have her go back upstairs. So that did not happen. And we ended up having to call around to find her nursing home rehabilitation facility number 2. So that's where I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to leave it right there for now. I tried to record everything, because CeCe is so young. She was 35 when this happened, and she is a director, a videographer herself. So I wanted her, when she came through this, my wife told me, listen, you may want to put a documentary or something together because she needs to see this for herself, and we never know who it can help. So from day one, I've been taking pictures and video. So I gotta comb through my stuff to add it, but I'm gonna add it for you, and I will be back with part, where are we, 4? I'll be back with part 4 when we got her moved to the next nursing home. Peace. Don't forget to subscribe. You don't want to miss anything. So because going through this whole process with adding these parts, I'm going to be bringing in stuff, video and stuff, where CeCe is now and where she was before, because she's still going through things now, and I'm gonna be able to share that with you guys. But you don't want to miss it, so please subscribe. If you haven't, you can subscribe at the bottom of the screen, so that you can be up on when I upload the next part to this. All right. Also subscribe to my spouse's page, author T Styles, on YouTube as well. Take care, guys. Don't forget, if you love me, sub me. Peace.